bitter criticism. This Saturday, I'm kind of in love, kind of. I'm kind of in love of a Chinese teacher, kind of. But who knows? I guess it's inevitable to have fantasies. Yeah, so they are far away from this point of view. There's a lot of steel rolls. Those steels are very dangerous. But I never saw any accident. But there's better trucks to transport this steel. Anyway, let's read some. I guess. Let's do the genocide dossier as usual. And here we are. Gaza, starvation, displacement, and despair as Israel ramps up war. Live updates. There's a streaming saying Gaza City attack. At least 16 people killed, including 6 children. Al Jazeera's Ibrahim Al-Khalili reports more on the Israeli attack on residential buildings in Gaza City. Live updates. Gaza starvation, displacement, and despair as Israel ramps up war. At least 16 people were killed in an Israeli bombing on Gaza City's Sabra, with more than 50 wounded, medics said. This is by Julian Kessler Damours, Patrick Keddy. Those journalists from Al Jazeera, they cover everything. They are all terrain. And it says, summary. The summary says, the Civil Defense Agency tells Al Jazeera at least 16 people were killed and 50 wounded in an Israeli attack on Gaza City's Sabra, describing the event as a quote-unquote full-fledged massacre, end quote. Israeli forces killed at least 8 Palestinians waiting near a point in Al-Akawa near Rafah, bringing the number of people killed seeking aid since the Gaza Humanitarian Foundation began operations to 118. The Israeli army says it recovered the body of Thai national Natapon Pinta, who was taken captive in Gaza on October 7, 2023. Oh, Thai national. What a bad luck. Definitely, it will be better to stay in Thailand. So remember, don't go to Israel. Anyway, that could be understood in 2 ways, isn't it? Israel's war on Gaza has killed at least 54,772 Palestinians and wounded 125,834, according to Gaza's health ministry. An estimated 1,139 people were killed in Israel during the Hamas-led attacks on October 7, 2023, and more than 200 taken captive 9 minutes ago. Gaza, losing a future generation of children. Gaza is, quote, losing a future generation of children. And those who survive to adulthood will face heightened health risks. Obstetrician Brenda Kelly told Al Jazeera, well, that's obvious. It's a drama, but it's obvious. Quote, we know that famine experience in utero has lifelong consequences for children who then go into adulthood with much higher risks of cardiovascular disease and diabetes, as well as mental health disorders, end quote. Kelly, a subspecialist in maternal and fetal medicine at Oxford University Hospital, said. Kelly added that Israel's decimation of health infrastructure in Gaza means that women who do lose babies have no access to psychosocial support. Quote, we know the impact that this personal tragedy has for women. We know the guilt that we carry. But for many women, it's simply not safe to live where they are to cross and try to reach the nearest health facility, end quote. She said, quote, and there are so few health facilities there. The repeated displacement of women and their families throughout Gaza makes it virtually impossible for women to know which facilities are open and get that care, end quote. 24 minutes ago.
Estación Varón.
And says, Israel's war on Gaza leading to quote-unquote staggering rise in miscarriages and stillbirths, doctor says. Israel's war on Gaza and the famine taking hold there is having a devastating impact on pregnant women and creating a quote-unquote staggering rise in stillbirths, miscarriages, preterm births, and low birth weight in the strip. Brenda Kelly, a consultant obstetrician from Oxford University Hospital, has told Al Jazeera. There's a new live update, I guess, but I have just too many YouTube live updates. I cannot see. You know, cell phone internet it sucks. you know, all these live updates, these updates from Facebook, they are sucks. You cannot read. And she said that starving pregnant women in Gaza are simply not getting enough of the building blocks for life, such as protein, carbs and fats, and cannot access essential micronutrients such as iron, folic acid, iodine, and zinc, which are essential for healthy organ and cellular development in the developing baby and the placenta. Even before October 2023, the Israeli blockade on Gaza had already compromised the health of pregnant women in Gaza who were struggling with conditions like anemia, she said. Quote, but what we are seeing now is the direct fallout of Israel's weaponizing of hunger in Gaza, impacting babies' growth and growth restriction in one of the leading causes of miscarriages and stillbirth, end quote. She said the severe malnutrition among pregnant women is being compounded by severe stress and psychological trauma, as well as repeated displacement and a lack of safe shelter. Quote, severe malnutrition weakens the immune system, so when you couple that with hardly any access to water or hygiene facilities, we are also seeing a rising level of infections in pregnancy, which is also going to be contributing to pregnancy loss, end quote, she added. And there's a new live update.
Estación Portales.
It says, 3 minutes ago, watch, more than 300 miscarriages recorded in 80 days in Gaza. As Israel continues its blockade on Gaza, basic medical supplies such as iron supplements and prenatal vitamins have long since disappeared from shelves and clinics. As expectant mothers are facing an increased risk of miscarriage and premature births. I didn't know this word, miscarriage, such a terrible word. Al Jazeera's Tarek Abu Hassom reports from Deir El Balah in central Gaza. And there's a video, but I'm going to delete the last one from 1 hour ago. It says 1 hour ago, June 7, all this is June 7, Saturday, June 7, situation at Al Shifa Hospital, quote unquote, beyond imagination, by Hani Mahmoud. Al Shifa Hospital, due to Israeli attacks and the time it was stormed by Israeli military, has been reduced to one department only, that is the emergency ward. The past hours have been very difficult. Injured patients were left on the floor of the hospital without immediate intervention, simply because there is insufficient medical staff and an acute shortage of medical supplies. Items as simple as bandages and painkillers are not available. That is the tragedy we see after each attack across the Gaza Strip. Surgeries are also not taking place inside Al Shifa Hospital because its operating theater is not working after it was destroyed in the past months by Israeli military. The hospital is running at its lowest capacity, leaving hundreds of thousands of people without any meaningful medical care. Apart from this, the many bodies that arrive at the hospital go through a process of identification. This is very difficult given the severe injuries and bleeding, and the fact that many of the bodies arrive fully charred. It takes time for the medical staff and the surviving family members to identify the bodies, putting more pressure on the hospital. And that's it. There's a graphic, Israeli army bombs more hospitals. So well done, Zionists. Terrible, terrible life. I will never go to Israel.